This will be for the Khan Academy exercise, differentiate polynomials. All right, so to find the derivative of a polynomial, just distribute and find the derivative of each term. So in other words, if you wanted to find the derivative of a plus b minus c, and you had the derivative with respect to x, d dx, that would just get distributed to each term, okay? And then you would find the derivative of each term individually and just maintain the plus minus sign. So it's basically like using the distributive property. And you want to remember that the derivative of a constant equals 0. All right, so they want us to find h prime of -1. That's the slope at x equals -1. All right, we have the main function here, h of x. We have to find h prime of x. All right, so remember, when we have to take the derivative of this function to get h prime of x. So remember, when you want to find the derivative of a polynomial, 3x to the 4th minus 5x to the 3rd plus 2x squared, you want to take the derivative of each of those terms individually. So basically, this gets distributed to each term. You don't necessarily have to write all this out each time, but let me show you on the first one at least. All right, so it's the derivative of 3x to the 4th minus, right here, close that up, minus the derivative of 5x to the 3rd. I already included the minus sign. Plus the derivative of d dx, the derivative of 2x squared. All right, so you want to take the derivative of each one. So remember the power rule. Okay, you take that exponent and you move it out front, and then you decrease the exponent by 1. So it's going to be 4 times 3 to the x, 4 times 3x to the power of 4 minus 1. All right, and we have a minus sign here. Take the 3, move it to the front. That's going to be 3 times 5x to the 3 minus 1. All right, we're subtracting 1 from the exponent each time. And then plus, take the 2, move it out front. 2 times 2x, and the new exponent is going to be 2 minus 1. All right, so I moved the exponent out front on each one, and for each exponent, we did minus 1 on the x. All right. So let's see, 4 times 3 is 12, and 4 minus 1 is 3, so that's x to the 3rd. 3 times 5 is 15, and the exponent is 3 minus 1, so that's x squared. 2 times 2 is 4, and on the x, the exponent is 2 minus 1, so it's x to the first power, but that's just x. All right, so that right there is your derivative. Now, do you need to write all this every time? Absolutely not. I would have just went right to this function here, moved the 4 out front, and did minus 1. Move the 3 out front, minus 1. Move the 2 out front and do minus 1. And then you would end up with the same thing. All right. And now we have to plug in -1. So let me make some room here. All right. So now that we have our derivative function, we can do h prime of -1. And that just means we're subbing in -1 wherever we see an x. All right, so we have 12 times -1 to the 3rd right? That's to the third. Minus 15 times negative 1 squared. Plus 4 times negative 1. All right, negative 1 to the third is just negative 1. 12 times negative 1 is negative 12. Negative 1 squared is going to be positive 1. Negative 15 times positive is negative 15. And 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. All minuses. 12 plus 4 is 16. Plus 15, that's 31, but it's all minuses. So that is negative 31. Answer C. All right, so here they just want us to find f prime of x for this function. I'm going to rewrite this and make a little more room. All right, so I just rewrote this function, but I made more room here. And we're just going to take the derivative of each one individually. Okay, so for the x to the fifth, you take that 5, you move it out front. So that's 5 times, and you just subtract 1 from the exponent. For positive 2x to the third, you take the 3, you move it out front, and that's times minus 1 on the exponent. Last term, you take the 2, move it out front, that's times and minus 1 on the exponent. Okay, so right here we have 5 times x, or 5x. The exponent is 5 minus 1, which is 4. We have a plus sign. Right here we have 3 times 2, which is 6. We have x, and 3 minus 1 is the exponent, so that's a 2. Right here we have minus 2. We have x, and the exponent is 2 minus 1, which is just 1. Okay, but you don't need to write a 1. And that's your answer right there. Final answer. Okay, you might be able to do it in your head, but that's basically it. You take the derivative of each term in the polynomial. All right, one more. Here they want us to find the derivative with respect to x of this function right here. And they want us to find it at x equals negative 2, all right? That's basically the slope at x equals negative 2. All right, this right here, it's the equivalent of f prime of negative 2. So we want to find the derivative of this. You can go right from this step right here, but I'm going to rewrite with a little bit of extra space. All right, negative 2x to the fourth plus 3x to the third minus x squared. Okay, I just left a little space there. And now we're going to do our derivative. Okay, we're just going to take the derivative of each one. All right, so the 4. Actually, let me put the minus sign a little further away. It really doesn't matter either way. But let me put the minus sign right there. Okay, that'll help a little bit. It's the same thing anyhow. All right, so let's put the 4 out front. And the exponent on the x loses 1. Let's take the 3, put it out front. And the exponent on x loses 1. Let's take the 2 and put it out front. And the exponent loses 1. Okay, negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. We have x, and the exponent is 4 minus 1, which is 3. Positive 3 times 3 is 9. And the exponent on x is 3 minus 1, which is 2. Negative 2x. And the exponent on the x is 2 minus 1, which is just 1. But you do not have to write it. So that's f prime of x. All right, and if we did f prime of negative 2, I think I have enough space here. Maybe not. All right, f prime of negative 2. Maybe I should do it in a different color here. F prime of negative 2 means you're going to sub in negative 2 wherever you see an x. All right, because this is now f prime of x. All right, so negative 8 times x to the third. Plug in negative 2, so that's going to be negative 2 to the third. Plus 9x squared. So that's going to be negative 2 squared. All right, we're plugging in place of x. Minus 2 times negative 2. All right. Negative 8 and negative 2 to the third is also negative 8. Positive 9 and negative 2 squared is negative 4. And, all right, so negative 2 squared is positive 4. Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. Okay, negative 8 times negative 8 is 64. 9 times 4 is 36. And plus 4 on the end. I think that's going to be 104 if I'm not mistaken. Okay, it's good practice to do it manually, but double check with the calculator if you do it manually. It should be 104, which is answer B. Okay. That's it right there.